It's the champ, Shannon the Cannon, two-time heavyweight champion of the world. And you're watching Sports Icons. Subscribe. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. Champ.
So, former 140-pound undisputed champion Terence Crawford has called out ERROL Spence Jr. to face him after he fights Jeff Horn and ERROL Spence gets his mandatory out the way. And this is what Terence Crawford had to say. ERROL Spence Jr., let's make that basketball bet, and whenever we fight, we'll see how you're going to box me. Walk me down and who's smarter. Don't let the size fool you. Bet we can set that game up right after our fights. Now, what he's saying is that ERROL Spence Jr. has said that we don't know how good Crawford's going to be. He's just moving up in weight and he's quite small in compared to himself and others. And so, obviously, Terence Crawford is comparing it to a basketball game. But either way, that's an interesting fight, and it's good that Terence Crawford is willing to get in there with ERROL Spence Jr. But is ERROL Spence Jr. willing to get in there with Terence Crawford? Because whenever Terence Crawford's name is mentioned to ERROL Spence Jr., he seems to have a bit of an excuse. Of course, he says, yeah, you know, one day, of course, we'll have that fight. You know, he's talking about Terence Crawford the way that Keith Thurman used to talk about ERROL Spence. Well, he kind of still does, but I'm talking about in the beginning when Floyd Mayweather offered Keith Thurman a fight against ERROL Spence Jr. on his undercard. And it was a case of, well, you know, he's still green, we need to build this fight, he's still got a lot to prove. And I mean, for me, you know, I've always said, though, that if you're going to fight somebody who's a talent and a prospect, get them early. You know, I've always said that, and I've said it to quite a few fighters now about Daniel Dubois. If he's going to be the real deal, get him now and get that victory before it becomes a impossible task. So, either way, this is pretty much how ERROL Spence Jr. responds to Terence Crawford with, you know, he's still got to prove himself. I mean, prove himself. He's come up from 140 to 147. Danny Garcia did the exact same thing, and look at what he done. Now, this is not to say that Terence Crawford is going to beat Jeff Horn. We don't know how that fight's going to go. Of course, Terence Crawford is going to be the favourite, but this is his first fight at 147. So, with Jeff Horn, he's a rough and tumble kind of guy. He can take a punch. He's not going to come there and lay down at all. He's going to put it on Terence Crawford. Now, of course, it's going to be in America, and of course, the referee and the judges are going to be on the side of Crawford. We know this. So any kind of, you know, Jeff Horn even getting close to Terence Crawford, the referee's going to break it up, you know, accuse him of headbutting or low blowing or whatever he's going to do, using elbows and suplexes and DDTs. You know what exactly what's going to happen. So Jeff Horn is going to be restricted. He really is. I mean, for me, I like the way that Jeff Horn fights. I like the fact that he's a bit rough and tumble. But of course, if you look at his last fight against Gary Corcoran, he didn't do anything bad at all in that fight, did he? But either way, that's a fight I'm looking forward to. So it does appear, though, that Terence Crawford is looking past Jeff Horn and looking at ERROL Spence Jr. But let's see. Obviously, at the minute, they're both on different networks, so that's a bit of a complication. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. So drop your thoughts below. Click that thumbs up. Subscribe. Catch you next video.